Welcome to our executive interview series at the Trellix Cybersecurity Summit presented by FedScoop and Cyberscoop. I'm Wyatt Cash, and we're here with Bryan Palma, Chief Executive Officer at Trellix. Bryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Wyatt.
I'd like to start by asking, what are the biggest challenges that you're seeing industry face in trying to defend against the expanding attack surface, not only across their organizations, but across the extended software supply chain?
Absolutely. I think you hit on it there at the end. Supply chain is one of the biggest risks today, because what happens is companies become vulnerable by their least protected partner or asset or employee. That's obviously very difficult to guard against. So we're seeing a lot of folks do a lot more work around protecting their supply chain, not just protecting their own organization. I think the second thing is really around nation-state attacks. We know that nation-state attacks are very sophisticated. In fact, we've recently seen through our Advanced Research Center that nation-state attacks are up 50% in the last 6 months. That's attributed to the conflict in Russia and Ukraine, also with the conflict with Israel and Hamas, and we're also seeing it across the way as well with Taiwan and China. So nation states turning themselves to look at private organizations is never a fair fight, and that's one of the other major challenges for the industry.
And then I'm curious to get your perspective. How has increasing reliance on cloud services made real-time cybersecurity and threat detection easier for organizations or potentially harder?
I think it's a combination of both. If you think about what happens with cloud, it's another attack surface to think about. It's also another way to control how you think about your organization. So we look at it from a Trellix perspective as the reality of doing business. So I don't really think it's either easier or harder. I think there's elements of both. It gives you some advantages by going to the cloud. You can have more control and consistent policy, but it also gives you a greater attack surface for the hackers to go find ways to get into your organization.
Well, Bryan Palma, thank you so much for taking a few minutes here to join us at the Trellix Cybersecurity Summit.
Thanks, Wyatt. I appreciate it.